July 20th, 1944. In the forests of East Prussia, a man with a briefcase is about to change the course of history. His name is Claus von Stauffenberg, and in his bag is a bomb intended for Adolf Hitler. But this is not a story of heroes and villains. It is the story of a German officer who must choose: betray his country or betray his conscience. To understand this story, we need to go back in time. In the 1930s, Hitler rose to power, promising greatness for Germany. He occupied the Rhineland, annexed Austria, and incorporated the Sudetenland. Europe trembled, but many in Germany rejoiced. Among them was a young Bavarian aristocrat named Claus von Stauffenberg, who looked up to the Führer with admiration. But everything changed in September 1939, when Hitler invaded Poland and unleashed World War II. In the shadows of the Reich, a secret organization was born, the Black Orchestra. Members of military intelligence, generals, colonels, all united by a single goal: to stop Hitler before he destroyed Germany. The first attempts failed. In March 1943, a bomb hidden in a case of cognac is loaded onto the Führer's plane. But the freezing temperatures at high altitude prevent it from exploding. Hitler lands safely, unaware of how close he came to death. Meanwhile, Stauffenberg fought on the front lines: Poland, France, Russia, ... But it was when he discovered the horrors perpetrated by the Nazi regime against the Jews that something inside him broke. The defeats at Stalingrad and El Alamein convinced him this war must end. In April 1943, fate sets a cruel trap for him. In Tunisia, a British air raid hits him head-on. He loses his left eye, his right hand, and 2 fingers on his left hand. But not his determination. He returned to Germany mutilated but resolute. He was promoted to colonel and, in 1944, became Chief of Staff of the Reserve Army. It was here that the conspirators contacted him, and Stauffenberg accepted. But he didn't just say yes. He had a brilliant plan. There is a military document called Plan Valkyrie, designed to allow the Reserve Army to intervene in the event of internal uprisings. Stauffenberg secretly modifies it, adding a clause: intervention in the event of a coup by the SS. The idea is diabolical in its simplicity. Kill Hitler and Himmler, make it look like the SS is attempting a coup, and use the Reserve Army to arrest the traitors. Once in control, the conspirators would form a new government and sign a peace treaty with the Allies. But they needed someone who could get close to Hitler, someone the Führer trusted, and that someone was Stauffenberg. As Chief of Staff, he regularly attended military meetings. He could enter the Wolf's Lair, Hitler's fortified headquarters, without arousing suspicion. On July 15th, Stauffenberg made his first attempt. But Himmler was not present, and the attack was postponed. In Berlin, General Ulbricht was forced to pass off the army alert as a drill. Time was running out. The Gestapo was on their trail. July 20th arrives. Stauffenberg lands in Rastenburg with his aide, Lieutenant von Heffen. In his briefcase, he carries 2 plastic explosives. The plan is perfect. Or at least it should be. After an initial meeting with Field Marshal Keitel, Stauffenberg asks to change clothes because of the heat. It's an excuse. He locks himself in the bathroom with von Heffen and begins to arm the bombs. But time is running out. They manage to activate only 1 fuse when Sergeant Vogel knocks insistently. The Führer has arrived. Stauffenberg leaves with only 1 bomb primed, 30 minutes before the explosion. Perhaps even less, given the exceptional heat of that day. But there is another, even more serious problem. Due to the scorching temperatures, the meeting will not be held in the reinforced concrete bunker as planned. It will be held in the conference room, a wooden hut with wide-open windows. 1 bomb may not be enough. Stauffenberg knows this, but it's too late to turn back. He enters the room, already full of generals. He manages to position himself close to Hitler, and with disarming calm, places the briefcase under the table. Then, after just 10 minutes, he leaves on the pretext of an urgent phone call. He leaves his belt and cap behind to simulate an imminent return. He walks outside. He reaches von Heffen. The driver is ready. And then ... boom. A devastating explosion tears through the air. The conference room is literally destroyed. Stauffenberg and von Heffen don't even turn around. They run to the car. They have to get out of the complex before total lockdown is triggered. At the checkpoint, the guard is suspicious. He doesn't want to let them through. But Stauffenberg, with impressive composure, calls one of his contacts in the reserve. Captain Mollendorf answers, unaware of anything, and authorizes their exit. As their plane takes off for Berlin, General Feldgiebel, a member of the resistance, tries to call the conspirators at the Wolf's Lair. But the line is jammed. The news that arrives is confusing. Is Hitler dead? Is he alive? In Berlin, Ulbricht hesitates, and that hesitation will cost him dearly. In the conference room, amid the smoking wreckage and wounded bodies, a figure emerges. Supported by 2 lieutenants, his trousers torn and his hair singed, but miraculously alive, Adolf Hitler. The bomb had exploded just a few meters away from him, but someone had moved the briefcase behind the thick wooden leg of the table, which had acted as a shield. The open windows had dispersed the shock wave. The Führer had suffered only superficial injuries. When Stauffenberg lands in Berlin, he is convinced that Hitler is dead. He rushes to the Bendler Block, the headquarters of the reserve army, expecting to find the coup already underway. Instead, he finds only chaos and uncertainty. Hitler is dead. Stauffenberg shouted, "I saw it with my own eyes." But Fromm, the commander of the reserve, had already spoken to Rustenburg. He knew the truth. Hitler was alive, and he refused to activate Valkyrie. Stauffenberg and Ulbricht have no choice. They arrest Fromm and set the plan in motion. They transmit the news of the Führer's death to all military units in the Reich, along with orders to arrest the SS as the conspirators. For a few hours, it seems to work. In Paris, German commanders arrest the entire SS general staff. In Berlin, Major Reamer surrounds the home of Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda, ready to arrest him. Goebbels has a cyanide capsule in his pocket, ready for anything. When Reamer enters, Goebbels tells him, "The Führer is alive, and you are participating in a coup d'etat." Then he makes the decisive move. He puts Reamer in direct contact with Hitler. The major hears the voice of his Führer on the phone, and at that moment, everything collapses. At 7 p.m., Goebbels speaks on the radio. Hitler is alive. The assassination attempt has failed. At the Bendler Block, Stauffenberg and his men realize that it is over. Late in the evening, a revolt breaks out among officers loyal to the Reich. Gunfire erupts in the corridors. Stauffenberg is wounded in the shoulder. The conspirators are arrested. Fromfried wants to erase the evidence of his indecision. He sentences the conspirators to death on the spot. In the courtyard of the Bendler Block, under the dazzling lights of the trucks, the firing squads are already ready. General Ulbricht falls first, then Merz von Kornheim. When it is Stauffenberg's turn, von Heffen throws himself in front of him, sacrificing himself. But it is only a delay of a few seconds. Stauffenberg is placed in front of the rifles again, and before the bullets riddle him, he shouts his last words, "Long live Holy Germany." That night, Hitler speaks on the radio. He promises revenge. In the following months, the Gestapo will arrest over 7,000 people. 200 will be executed, many by hanging as ordered by the Führer. Colonel von Tresco, sent to the front, blows himself up with a hand grenade rather than be captured. Operation Valkyrie fails, but Stauffenberg and his men prove that not all Germans are Hitler's accomplices, and that even in the heart of the Reich, there are men willing to sacrifice everything to stop evil. Their story reminds us that true courage lies not in obeying orders, but in having the courage to disobey when orders are wrong. What do you think about this conspiracy? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for your attention, and if you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel for more discoveries.